Hi everybody, my name's Tamara and I'm the practitioner from Tamara's Counselling and Kinesiology. I'm here today to do a demonstration of what you might see if you were to come for a kinesiology session with me. Now, I've skipped a little bit of a section, which is basically at the beginning of every session we have a slight counselling session that goes with it. If it was your first intake, it would be a duration of about 30 minutes where we do a thorough health assessment and we find out what your goals of coming to see me are about. So with my client, I've got my partner Reese, who has volunteered with consent to be my client for today, which is really great. We're discussing an issue that he's had with regard to being quite stressed, and then he's getting a sensation of vertigo. So what we're going to do, we're going to work with this issue through the session and just give you a basic understanding of what a session would look like if you were to come and see me for a session of kinesiology. So again, we would have discussed the issue. We've come up with that he's feeling a little bit unsafe when the stress comes along, and then he gets vertigo and feels like there's a bit of a tilt. So what we're going to do, we're going to first think about the vertigo. So what we're going to do, what we need to do first of all is we're going to talk to the body. So kinesiology is not just about talking with words and the conscious mind, but it also addresses the subconscious. And how we utilize that in kinesiology is through using muscle monitoring. Okay, so the muscle that we use is the anterior deltoid, which is this one up here. And what we do is we put pressure onto the arm to indicate whether it's a lock, meaning a hold, or if there's stress, the arm will unlock. So for example, if Reese was to say his name, which is
Reese,
then the arm here will lock because there's no stress. The message from the brain through to the muscle has no stress at doing that. But if Reese was to say, my name is Tamara.
My name is Tamara.
The arm will unlock. There's no way that it will hold because the body responds that it's a stress, that it's not what is the truth. So for him, so that's what happens. This muscle monitoring, it actually just taps into the subconscious. It can't diagnose, it's not a truth or not truth factor, it just indicates stress. So when he's saying my name is Tamara, it's causing a stress for him, so therefore it unlocks. It's not necessarily a truth, like I said, it's more of a whether it's a stress or not. So in kinesiology, first of all, we need to do some pre-checks to make sure that all of the connections between Reese and his body and my body are working before we start the session. So we'll check again. So what I do first, just do a spindle of the muscle up here. The spindling should make the muscle unlock because it changes the different directions of the neurotransmitters that go through the brain, and then it makes it unlock. So that's working fine. The muscle is in homeostasis. Just doing a few pre-checks around whether he's hydrated. That was fine. Both thumbs up. This one is about whether him and I, the monitoring is working between him and I. These are indicating that the central muscle and governing muscle, that governing meridian that regulate the whole body are fine. That's happening. Okay, the last thing we do before we start the session is to think about the goal. So we're going to start just checking that this muscle's in homeostasis. So say your name again.
My name is Reese.
Hold. It's holding there quite tightly. My name is Tamara.
My name is Tamara.
So that's unlocking. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to think about the vertigo. Close your eyes, think about the vertigo. So that's causing him stress. He can't hold that. Okay. So now I want you to think about being able to walk around and not having that stress, so concentrate. That's the goal for the session, is that he's able to walk around and feel that everything's okay and he's not going to topple. Okay, so that's unlocking, so that's what we need to work on. So by the end of the session, we'd hope that when he thinks about that muscle will hold, because at the moment it's not in homeostasis, because he should be able to, he's a lot stronger man than I am, he should be able to hold that out, but due to the stress, he can't, so it unlocks. Okay, good. Now what we're going to do, I'm first of all going to touch some pressure points. So these acupressure points are specific for vertigo, so I'm just going to touch some of the points, and I'm just going to ask Reese whether they're painful. Is that one okay?
Yeah.
No pain?
No.
Good. So even though sometimes there's no pain, what we're still doing, we're activating parts of the meridian channels which actually are specific for vertigo. What about that one?
That's fine.
No, it's fine. Good. GB20. How does that feel there?
That's fine.
Good. How's that?
It's a little bit tender.
Out of 10?
4.
Okay, I'm just going to write that down. Is it okay?
It's all.
Is it higher than 4?
Yeah.
How high
It's
is it?
like a 6.
Okay. Okay, so we're just going to touch this for a bit because it is sore. I'm just going to activate it. What activating does is that in regard to the issue, we just really put on some pressure on these points so that we start activating the actual points related to the issue. Yeah, good. Good. Sanjar 7. How's it here?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Good. And can you just open your jaw for me? How's that in there?
Fine.
Now, Reese has also told me as well, because I asked him if he had any middle ear issues, he said he's had grommets as well, which can be related to. So maybe something happened where he got a bit stressed and then actually the middle ear had an issue in the vestibular. Is that okay then?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so we've activated that. Now what we're going to do, we're going to do a little bit more activating. So what we do is I look for a channel, and in relation to the vertigo, we are going to activate a channel. Now with the channel, there are muscles associated with it. There are U1 points, which are the major point for that meridian. And there are also alarm points which connect to the actual organ of the meridian. So we're just going to go through the different alarm points. So close your eyes and think of the vertigo. Okay, so what's unlocked here, if you have a look, this point here, it's the alarm point for the liver meridian. So what we're going to do, we're going to activate the liver meridian. So we're going to start with the alarm points, just relax. So we're going to, how does it feel in there? It's okay? No pain, that's good. Good. Now we're going to activate. What I'm going to do, I'm going to rub up the meridian. So I'm going to start. So liver 1 on the acupuncture system is here, and it goes up the calf. So I'm just really activating along the channel. Touching the skin, what it does is it brings the proprioceptors along the skin to the forefront. So that's what's related. Okay, the U1 point, which is a major point for liver, is here.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, out of 10.
8.
Just breathe. That's it. I'm just going to apply pressure to liver 3. Liver 3 is also a stress point, which he said that the vertigo come on due to stress. Most of us in our modern world, liver 3, which is actually right between the big toe and the second toe. If you follow the little gap up until you basically hit where you can stop going through the gap, where all the phalanges meet, if you touch there, most people that point is quite sore. Okay, so what we would hope with the session, I'm just going to write that liver 3 is at an 8. So the U1s are fine, so relating to the direct liver. So this is saying that it's more of an energy thing. So there's energy flow down the liver meridian is having some issues. So that's what we're going to work on. We also want to activate the major muscle. So the PMS, the way that you muscle monitor PMS to see if it's in homeostasis is it goes in this direction. Because it's along along the sternum. So we want to activate that muscle by doing this. Okay, so Reese, I'm going to put pressure here. I want you to resist my pressure, hold it. We're going to try and spindle it to see if it's in homeostasis. Okay, that, it should unlock there because I've spindled the cells. So what this is showing to me is that there is stress in that muscle, which is related to the meridian. Okay, so that's OF. Let's try the other one. So put the other one forward. Again, we're going in this direction.
So OF.
OF means that it's over-facilitated, which means there's too much stress in the body.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so hold it here. Hold it. Hold it. Okay, so he's not able to hold that side. I'm not applying that much pressure, and he's not able to hold. So we call that under-facilitated in kinesiology, which means it's also a stress, but there's not enough energy going there through that on that arm to even hold the muscle. So this one is overly stressed. This one is stressed, but because it's overly so overstressed that it can't even hold. So what was it? Left hand side OF, right hand side UF. Okay, so that's good. So we've activated the liver channel. We're going to see if there's any more we need to activate. No, it's saying that we're good. So what we would do now in a session is I would then find out how we can, so what we've done, we've activated, we've talked about it. We would probably do a little bit more talking in more of a counselling setting, finding out what like a VRP point is for this, and a VRP point is an essential point which has psychology to the acupuncture point, and then we would discuss that as well. Obviously, due to the video, we don't want to discuss too many personal details because we just want to show you how a session generally goes. So we've got the muscles, we've got the acupuncture systems, okay, and we've got the organs related to the different acupuncture. So what we're going to do now, there's different, so what I want to show you is the different ones. So we could correct and try to balance this, which is the whole point of kinesiology, is balancing the body and bringing it back to homeostasis. So what we would do, we could do a structure balance. Okay, so it doesn't want that because it's not unlocking. What a structure balance could be is that maybe in terms of the vertigo, we might have to do some balancing around gaits and how he's walking. It might be something to do pelvis. The pelvis and the integration between the spinal cord along here could need work. It could be a muscle thing where we need to just unlock the stress of the muscle. But in this case, it's not coming up that the balance needs to be structural. The next thing that we can balance with kinesiology is biochemical. Again, no stress there, that's not what we need. Biochemical, what we could do is put vials on the stomach. So we could have like a heavy metal vial, we put it on the stomach. Say aluminium is something that's causing him stress. So what we could do, you put it on there and then we work out how to balance. Like it might be holding an acupuncture point, balancing a chakra based on the vial that we put on the stomach. And then what that does is it clears the toxicity within the biochemical system of for the body. Okay, the next one. Psychology, also not showing up. Okay, so the psychology around this issue is not what we need to address. Okay, last one, electromagnetic, that one's unlocking. Is it priority? Yes, it is. Okay, so psychology, just before we move on, is about sometimes what we do is we have limiting beliefs, and with those limiting beliefs we can actually believe something but also not believe it at the same time. For example, you may want to succeed but also not want to succeed at the same time. So what that's doing, it's throwing off the body from being successful because you have a limiting belief system that is basically saying, yes, I want to succeed, but also you also don't want to succeed. So those type of belief systems can impact. That in this case isn't the reason. His is electronic, which I kind of said that it seemed like, especially with the liver 3 being out, that it's a sort of a chi or a chakra issue, so more of a flow. So what we're going to see is what we would do. So do we need to do... no. Okay, so what's coming up is to do a crystal balance. So what I would do, I'm just going to show all the different balances that we could do. So originally I asked, do we need to do an acupuncture balance? So for example, say liver 3 needed to be held. What I would do, I would get the client to close their eyes. I would put my fingers, which is called acupressure, onto liver 3, and then I would hold those points for longer than 13 minutes. We would also do a visualization and a muscle relaxation so that we're using acupressure, the points into homeostasis, which will then hopefully bring the vertigo in the body into homeostasis so that it doesn't get out of homeostasis and cause vertigo. Another thing we could do is using chakras. So using chakras, I can use crystals with the chakras. So I have some crystals. I have some essential oils, which I could also put on maybe liver 3. I can use, I've got some flower essence for emotional rescue that I can put under the tongue. I've also got colours, so we can use colour balances to also balance it. In this case, it wanted a crystal chakra. So for example, I would go through the different crystals that I have. I would ask where they want me to put the crystal, and then I would indicate what type of crystal balance that we're going to do. Crystal balances are usually around affirmations and using a crystal to either clear negative energy and bring positive energy in. And we would work out what we were going to do with regard to the crystal after that. I also have sound that we can do as well. That we do to balance out the body. So the correction takes about 30 minutes usually. So after I've activated all the different systems that are relevant for the issue, we then ask the body to correct, and we work out whether it's an acupressure, chakra, structural, biochemical balance that we need to do for the session. So what we would do, we'd get the crystals, we'd work out what it is, where the crystals need to go. Then at the end, I would go through and I would check the muscles and the points at the beginning that were painful, and we would recheck it and then see whether the body, recheck the goal and see whether the goal has been corrected. I feel like that's given quite a good demonstration. Thank you, Reese, for being my client. Please, if you have any information, please contact me on Facebook or via Messenger, and come and have a session, because bringing your body back into homeostasis really does make your life move a lot easier. Thank you for your time.